Gonna take this up and go. We win it, can't nobody hold it. I only fuck with my brother. Getting money with my brother. Gonna take this up and go. We win it, can't nobody hold it.
Yeah. Drop them area codes as y'all come in the building. Drop them area codes. We can call them joints out. Indeed. Tonight, live, we got a special treat. Tonight, Hassan Campbell was in the building to set the record straight in front of the whole wide world. Everybody start sharing the link. Hit the like button. We in the building right now. A little early, but we here. It's exclusive. It's raw. It's uncut. It's unscripted. It's raw. We about to get it in, man. What's good, Sam, man?
Man, I feel good this evening. It's a Friday. We in the building. It's time to go to work. The Uncensored podcast live on Hip Hop News Uncensored. Like old guy said, we got a special guest in the building.
Yes, sir.
Hassan Campbell. What's good with you, brother, man? How you doing this evening?
I'm doing real good, man.
Word. Peace to you, man. So yeah, old guy, we've been talking about this. I think you guys had a conversation maybe a couple days ago, getting this set up and scheduled. So we're real excited about this evening. Like you said, it's raw, uncut. Real excited about this evening. So yeah, man, I'll let you go ahead and do the honors, big dog.
Yes, sir. So peace once again. I'm old guy. That's SamAnt, Viral Hip Hop News. This is a brother who's been very vocal. You know, one of the victims of Afrika Bambattaa. He's been on the internet doing this thing on YouTube. So, you know, we got an interview. We reached out to him. He said he would do it. We here. And, you know, peace to brother Hassan Campbell. Go introduce yourself for the people who don't know and let people know where you're from and all that, bro.
Well, for those, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know me. I mean, lately, I've been having so many celebrities reach out to me. I ain't going to say none of their names in support. But most people already know who I am, Poppy, a.k.a. Hassan Campbell, the one who came out on Afrika Bambattaa. I would say I am the first one to come out on him. But when I came out on him, I took my video down after some hours. So Ron Savage came out and he actually made a little bit more noise because he blew the roof open. But I was the first one to actually come out.
Right. Now take us back though, man, for people who don't know the whole story. I know some of it. I've been watching stuff here and there, but take us back to the beginning about like how you met Afrika Bambattaa as a youngster. Take us back there.
Well, I mean, I've been around Afrika Bambattaa from a child. I grew up in Bronx River. He grew up in Bronx River, so he's been around me my whole life.
Right. So you grew up with Afrika Bambattaa. You know what I mean? He raised you. Now, the molestation is what you came out on YouTube with maybe a few years back. And that's what people become to know you from. You know, could you talk to us about, you know what I mean, what happened with that and what, you know, why exactly did you come out, you know, after all these years to, you know, put Afrika Bambattaa on blast? Could you take us through that whole process?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, anytime an adult touches a child, it's always going to be a scar or a stain there. Now, as far as my situation, a lot of people don't know, some do know. Afrika Bambattaa wasn't the first person that molested me. I was getting molested since I was about 5 or 6 years old. So when he came along, it was easy for him to already take advantage of a battered and abused child. So, you know what I mean? Afrika Bambattaa, Aaliyah, go. So he pretty much comes along, and for him, all of the children are ripe for the picking because he has all the elements around him in a land of poverty, which is Bronx River Projects. He has an army available to him. He has unlimited resources to him, and he has a bunch of broken children around him. So pretty much Afrika Bambattaa, he took advantage of me in thousands, not 1 or 2 or 3, thousands. I could sit up there and write a list of names and go down them and take all day actually reciting these names of people I know he touched. But who's going to come forward on a man with an army? Understand, Afrika Bambattaa came from the Black Spades era. When he formed the Zulu Nation pretty much recruited and took over every gang in New York City with hip hop. So not only do he have the gang members, the drug dealers, the gangsters, but then he got people like Queen Latifah, Tretch, KRS-One, Q-Tip, Busta Rhymes. I mean, the list goes on. Ice Cube. So now this man's influence is very, very powerful. Back in the days when there was no social media, if you would have came out on Afrika Bambattaa, like others spoke out and you heard the rumors, those people disappeared. So now with social media, with somebody coming out on Afrika Bambattaa the way I did, is like now the whole world knows you can't silence it. The only thing you can do is defend yourself. So, you know, pretty much dealing with Afrika Bambattaa, nobody wants to come and tell the world that a man touched them in any type of way. Both of you men are men. And I could almost guarantee you, if you was touched by another man, you probably wouldn't tell it. It doesn't feel comfortable to say to people that I was touched by a man when you're not gay. And as you can see, me being a man coming forward and telling people, yo, this man touched me, the first thing my people, our people with the same color skin is doing is exactly what ignorant people would do, is saying, yeah, you gay. Nah, I'm not gay. I was violated and I was man enough to come forward and say, yo, this is what the situation is. I'm tired of holding a secret. You know, the man got stabbed, because I'm not going to take you out through a long journey. The man got stabbed. It was always on my mind anyway. I always wanted to say something, but it was just like, it's just a no-no. You got to hold that one. Take that L. You can't tell everybody you was touched by a man. But when this man was stabbed by that young boy, and I saw the picture of this young boy face, and he looked like a younger version of me, it was eating at me, because he didn't say, I date raped this young boy. He said the young boy bugged out and just stabbed him up. But everybody that went to that hospital, and when I say everybody, it was like 100 people out there at that hospital when Bam got stabbed. So him denying it is like, okay, whatever. It was eating at me, knowing he was continuing on what he was doing. So I said, you know what? At some point in time, I had to tell. And one day, after certain events happened or whatever the case may be, like, for example, there was one day I got drunk and I told my mother over the phone what he did. And when I heard the cold silence in her voice, when I told her, I could hear I could just pretty much hear the devastation in her silence. Once I told her that and I put her through that, I was like, all right, it's on. That's when I told on Afrika Bambattaa. It was plenty of times I wanted to tell on him, but it was like, who do you tell? I done went to certain Zulu Nation members and told them, listen, we all know Bam got a problem. We got to stop him. We got to pull him to the side and sit him down. Now, at that point in time, I never told these individuals, yo, Bam did this to me, even though some of them knew. They knew. There's nobody that didn't know. And when I tell you nobody, there's nobody that didn't know in the Bronx that Afrika Bambattaa was a pedophile. Nobody. Everybody knew. The whole Bronx knew. There was no question. Every time you seen Afrika Bambattaa, he was escorted with at least about 5 or 6 little boys. Every time you seen him.
Okay, yeah. So when you first came out against Bambattaa and you first came out that you were molested, I think a lot of us, especially as men, respected your platform, respected what was going on, because we understood that a child in that situation is victimized. A child in that situation has absolute no control over what a grown man can do. We absolutely agree with that. We roll with that cause. But it seemed as though eventually throughout your journey in speaking out against Bambattaa, you started gaining criticism. You started gaining a little bit of backlash. Why don't you speak a little bit on the backlash that you started to receive and how that affected you a little bit in your journey in speaking out against pedophilia?
Well, the backlash I see as, you have magicians. That's what I'm gonna call them. You got these wizards. You got these warlords. You got these witches. These are magicians casting their spells through the internet, and this is strategically being done. Afrika Bambattaa know that he cannot use the Zulu Nation to come at me. So what they're doing is using no face people and some people with faces to try to discredit me. He's sprinkling money around. And you can see that clear as day. Now, when I took a break off of dealing with Afrika Bambattaa, which I really never really did, because I always dealt with him consistently in my own groups that deals with pedophilia and on Facebook or whatever the case, which was my original platform. After a while, a lot of people would pretty much say, we're tired of hearing about Afrika Bambattaa. You said this already. Nobody wanted to hear about Bambattaa no more. So it's like you would talk about him, but what you're saying about him is not getting any views because nobody wants to hear it. You said everything that you had to say. And once people heard your story on everybody else's platform, and then you consistently speaking on your platform, they don't want to hear it no more. So then you get the criticism, like when you start being successful at other things, like I actually started. And see, let me make something clear to you, right? The only reason why I continued to be a YouTuber and be on YouTube is because I was told that once I go silence and get off of the internet is when this case turned cold, I would be murdered. So I said, okay, I'm not scared of the beef, but I don't know who's coming at me and where's it coming from because there's too many people up under that umbrella that I pretty much offended. So I said, all right, now I'm not gonna be quiet no more. I'm gonna do this every day. I personally would have rather been able to fall back like Ron Savage and go into my regular life because now I'm so popular everywhere I go. There's somebody that knows me, which is a dangerous thing because our people are ignorant. And when they see you and they look at you, they think to yourself, never mind, he's been molested. All I heard was, is this dude is tough. Let me see if he's really as tough as he say he is. And this is the mentality of some of the people. So quite a few times I had to actually display a little bit of ignorance to make a person understand that I'm not the one for that. And now I have to deal with the fears of one day would this be what leads me to be in the penitentiary? Not because I handled Afrika Bambattaa, but because you have people that's crabs in a barrel and they coming with this sick mentality, this envious mentality of wanting to challenge you just to get a rep. Or just to see if you really that person that you say you are.
Right, because we see a lot of, I see a lot of criticisms of you, on the internet. A lot of people, saying a lot of stuff. I just come out and say it. A lot of people, how do you feel about people, saying that you and him were in a relationship? How do you feel about people saying that on the internet? Because I see that, because again, like Brother Sandman said, the narrative at one point, was you were a victim. Now everybody's, turning around like, that you may be lying. Could you address that for the people?
Well, let me set the record straight. The last video I put up earlier today was a video with the council making Afrika Bambattaa step down. The reason why the council made Afrika Bambattaa step down is because he confessed in front of them that he actually molested me. So there was no question when it came to them what he did. Now, as far as people wanting to sit up there and flip and twist the situation, only a sick and twisted individual would actually play a game like that and try to do that when Afrika Bambattaa himself has never claimed to be gay. He's never come out of the closet publicly, or he has never admitted to even ever being with a man. So now you have to ask yourself a question. Why would somebody come along and say I was in a relationship with him when those are not Afrika Bambattaa's words? So it's clear as day that you can see that these people are trying to take my situation, take my pain, and victimize me again with it all over. That's clear as day. Until Afrika Bambattaa comes out and say, hey, I'm openly gay and I had a relationship with these young men and they was of age, who has the right to turn around and try to make it seem like a man is lying on another man that's been hiding for 3 years straight? And when he did come forward and speak out and say he never did anything, he said he never did anything to Ron Savage, he totally acted like I didn't even exist or didn't even have a mention of my name when he was on Fox 5, and that was deliberately being done.
Get on Ron Savage. We seen Flex on Hot 97. He was with DJ Red Alert, and I forgot the other DJ. Got to apologize for that. He called out Ron Savage. No, he didn't call him out directly. I think he called him B Stinger, Stinger like that. Everyone knew who he was talking about. And we also seen Star come out, and we all know that he supported Ron Savage. We all know that he supported people against Afrika Bambattaa. He came out and said that he was the very person that called SOBs to keep Bambattaa out of the situation. Speak on Flex coming at Ron Savage. Speak on Star bringing Ron Savage back up and the backlash coming against that. What do you think about that whole situation?
Well, what I think about, first and foremost, what I think about Funkmaster Flex is Funkmaster Flex is a prime example of what happens when you give a pussy power. He's a prime example of when you put a weak individual in a position of power. Funkmaster Flex, he talks a little too much. The only thing that he's known for is putting his hands on women, beating up his girlfriends. So I don't even think he has the right to even speak on anything outside of that. That's for one. For two, as far as the situation with B Stinger go, the Zulu Nation is powerful. They're using Funkmaster Flex to speak out against B Stinger. And they're giving him ammunition to use against B Stinger. Now, what I will say about B Stinger is B Stinger has skeletons in his closet. But the reality of it is, it doesn't take away the fact that Afrika Bambattaa still violated that man. And even though I don't like B Stinger because of, you know, I personally feel like he got paid off. And that's, you know, allegedly, I'll say allegedly, I personally believe they paid him off. But at the same time, who am I to say, you know, at the end of the day, that he doesn't deserve the money that Bam gave him? If Bam did actually give him money, who's to say that he doesn't deserve it? On top of the fact that I can't even blame him, because who wants to be disrespected and violated all over social media just because you was a victim of Afrika Bambattaa? Instead of saying, yo, what he did to you was messed up, brother. How could I help you? Could I get you some counseling? You know, could I do this for you? Could I do for that for you? Or could we save some other children? My whole problem is that you see the president of the United States, Bill Clinton, was impeached because he had oral sex with a woman outside of his marriage. Afrika Bambattaa violated so many little boys throughout America and got locked up in Brazil, was locked up in Brazil for touching children out there. Now, keep in mind, I think the statute of limitation in Brazil is 14, if I'm not mistaken. So now ask yourself a question. How old was the child that he violated then? Second of all, when you mention and you say, Hassan Campbell, some people feel like you was in a relationship. Do any of you brothers have children?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now, your 12-year-old son or daughter, whichever one, if you find somebody sleeping with your 12-year-old daughter or son, is it a relationship or is it rape?
He said it was rape.
That's rape.
Exactly. So now, when you have a grown man, because the law says that Afrika Bambattaa should have been put in jail when he violated the 12-year-old, the 13-year-old, the 14-year-old me. Up until probably 15-year-old, I said it was 15 that was like the end of it right there. Now, even at 16 years old, legally, the law says you go to jail. As a parent, you're not trying to hear your child was in a relationship. You're going to load up, strap up, go get your gun, go get your bat, go get whatever you got, or you calling the police when you hear a grown 40-year-old man is laying down with your child. So this debunks the bull crap that these people are saying as far as he was in a relationship. Now, as far as me still continuously having a friendship with Afrika Bambattaa, after all of this, like I said, the man raised me. When I was having problems at home as a young runaway and I didn't have nowhere else to stay, I was staying with this man. Not trying to be in a relationship with him. I had a troubled home. And because I had a troubled home, he took advantage of that the same way he did every other child that was from Bronx River, Bronxdale, Soundview, Castle Hill. I mean, there's stories about Bambattaa being ran out of Castle Hill for doing the same thing, but ain't nobody telling them, because that means they would have to go to war with some of the Zulu Nation. And this is why the secret was kept for so many years, because you was dealing with a man that had killers that will kill for him. Now let's keep it all the way funky, right? You know, you hear the name Big Meech, you hear the name Pistol Pete, like some of the big names like that, right? Well, Bambattaa had 100 of those names up under him. And for all of these people that sit up there and say, well, I would have did this, I would have did that. How many people you know would have stepped to Big Meech? How many people you know would have stepped to Pistol Pete? So when you have these dudes that never had a fight trying to dictate and tell you how they would have fought, but never had a fight, they never been in a real war, they never been through anything at all, but they telling you what they would have done in the situation. They don't even have a clue of what they would have done, because as soon as you would have sat up there and said Afrika Bambattaa did XYZ in those days without this internet, it would have been a war. And to be honest with you, the only reason why there wasn't no really, really big war when I came forward on Afrika Bambattaa, because I was one of the most dangerous dudes out of the Zulu Nation, and I had an army of brothers that stood beside me. The Zulu Nation got divided because of who I was. So when people sit up there and say, oh, this brother is lying, you got to understand something. Thousands of Zulu Nation members stepped away and walked away from the Zulu Nation when I said what I said, because they knew my word was bond. And then after I said what I said, other victims inside the Zulu Nation came out to the council and told them, well, Bam got us too. And these were grown men of different ages.
What do you say to the people who say, Hassan, why keep going back? We understand about, you know, you having a troubled home, but why keep going back to a man who's terrorizing the community, molesting kids, taking advantage of broken homes? Why keep hanging out with this man and going back? You know what I mean? And pretty much, you know, hanging out with him. What do you say to the, cause that we can't, you know, help but turn on the internet every day and see a new video with a clip of somebody, you know, and that's why I wanted to bring you on to ask you these questions directly. I don't want the, you know, the hearsay and all that. What do you say to the people who say, why you keep going back to Afrika Bambattaa, man, if he was molesting you?
First of all, go sit down. When you sitting up there and you keep in mind, like I said, that I've been broken in where this was pretty much normal from the age of 5 or 6 years old. It was normal. Like, it was normal for one. For two, what I say is, how many of these same individuals that ask this question got an uncle in the family that done touched 30 kids in the family, and yet the whole family knows he does this, but they still let this family member come to all the Thanksgiving functions, the Christmas functions, and they leave the children in the family to be babysat by the same pedophile in the family. Let's keep it funky. Everybody in the black community damn near got an uncle in the family or somebody in the family that done touched half the kids in the family. Because when you come from a family, like, for example, with my mother's brothers and sisters, they were molested by my mother's husband. I mean, my grandmother's husband, right? So my mother's brothers and sisters, or sisters rather, was molested by the stepfather. And at certain ages, I was left being babysat and even was spanked by this dude. So when I got older as a grown man and I sat back and I ran down all of the things that I've been to, like I said, my mother left me with my grandmother's husband who raped her sisters. This was a normal thing in the black community, and this is something that people don't talk about. It was normal. Pedophilia in the black community is normal. One of the main reasons why people don't talk about pedophilia in the black community is because, let's keep it funky, all of us went to high school, right? And a lot of us that was in high school, while we was in high school, you was having a hard time getting the girl that you wanted or some of the girls that you wanted because you had 30-year-old men pulling up in front of the high school, blasting their music, coming to get all of the freshmen. So now, when you see a young Tekashi 6ix9ine running around with a 13-year-old. Everybody is so hard on him because he's 19 years old, but they don't realize that the men in our community made this normal. The majority of the men, even still now, are running around. They're 30, 35, 40 years old. They're dealing with 15-year-old girls. Child molestation has been made normal in the African-American community, and this is why so many of us don't speak out. But I say to anybody who has a problem with me going back to BAM or whatever the case may be, that's cool. My problem is, if that was really the problem, then why y'all never had Bambatta's name in y'all title and y'all haven't been admonishing him for what he did to all of the little boys? Because one thing about it, I'm not going to take nothing away from a female, but when a man molests a little boy, it's 2 times worse because this is the same sex. And if you're not gay, that's even more devastating. So where is the logic and where's the men of honor and integrity that's sitting up here saying, I don't care why this young man went back. Why is this man, Afrika Bambattaa, has been given awards throughout the community for doing so much stand-up stuff. And Afrika Bambattaa has an army. Why has this man not came back to face the music? Why did he not come to the conscious community when they called him out? He had an army. There was no reason for him not to go there. He didn't go there because he already confessed that he did this. So now with the people, what our people are doing, the people of color, black people, the crabs in the barrel, what they're doing is they're saying, all right, we don't believe him. He's full of crap. If it's not that, oh, he was Bam's lover. But hold up. Why would y'all take the front line for Afrika Bambattaa if you wasn't being paid for Afrika Bambattaa? That's for one. For two, you got to understand something. When you're dealing with child molestation, you have the Catholic Church spending $2 million to pretty much keep laws from being passed that affect them. Hassan Campbell is representing the biggest and the #1 demon in America: child molestation, pedophilia, sex trafficking, the Pizzagate stuff. Every time I speak on these topics, it's opening up doors to a lot of different people. A lot of victims are starting to come out because of my movement and because of my words. I done had MC Shan come out and tell the people that he was molested, and other celebrities, because of me, because of them hearing my story. So now the more I talk, the more I become a threat. So of course they're going to create little agents on YouTube to throw this off course, to make me, and what they say, they're going to push me to the point of no return where I commit suicide. Well, why would you want to do that? I have children that I take care of.
Right. Now you talk about, and a lot of people who are in support of your movement and who isn't in support of people against pedophilia. Like, no one wants to see a child being taken for granted, taken for anything at all. That's not allowed. That's fucked up to its highest degree. So when we hear your movement and we hear the platform and people who want to support, they ask, well, where's the place where you can donate? Where's the charities? Where's the things that you're doing out here in the community that we can donate to? Where are some of these things that can be founded?
Well, here's my thing right here, right? You asking, first and foremost, a person that never had no experience. I'm not a politician. So you asking me about questions of things that I've never even considered because I had no understanding of that. You're pretty much asking somebody that's a street dude, don't have no college background. The only background I have is the penitentiary. Where's this nonprofit this? Where's this nonprofit that? Who educated me on nonprofit?
Well, I mean, a GoFundMe is just as easy starting a YouTube account. Why not start a GoFundMe or something like that?
All right, so now, even still, right, I started GoFundMe. Where's this money going?
Anywhere you want it going.
On top of the fact that, let's keep it all the way funky, right? Because this is where the hate come in. People were asking me why I didn't start a GoFundMe. What is Hassan Campbell doing behind the scenes that people don't know about? What am I doing? First and foremost, how dare a person ask me, what am I doing with my money and why I didn't start a GoFundMe? Do you even know how much money I have?
No, I'm not asking what to do with your
No,
money.
I'm not saying you. No, I'm not saying you.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I'm correcting this because this is master manipulation going on, because what they see is when I go live, they see people throw money into my own super chat. And they like, wow, people like this dude this much. Were they actually giving them money? Wow. Well, why you don't set up this? Why you don't set up that? Why would you, at first of all, whatever I get with all this disrespect being dragged all over the place, I deserve. I put my life on the line and I could possibly die for telling on the people I told on. And when it comes to the Negro peon, the children of the slave master that was bred broken, that was bred to be savages, these are the people that's asking these questions, because the reality of it is, what I've endured on social media, I should be a millionaire. I should have an army behind me. I should have the whole community of African-American people behind me, helping me to form whatever it is for me to form. Instead, I don't have that. What I have is a bunch of Negro peons criticizing me for something that they could never do. They will never be known for doing exactly what I'm doing now, but they're trying to make a name for criticizing and telling me that what I did wasn't enough. What I did was enough for a person to commit suicide after being made fun of all over the internet the way I've been made fun of. I mean, I sat back and I told people I was molested. I told people that, you know, Bam had others molest me. Then people turned around, turned me into a molester. I said, when I was a child, I touched other children, meaning I played house because I was being molested with other children around my age. But what do social media do? They turn around and call me a child molester. Then what they do, they turn around and tell everybody he raped a child in a wheelchair. Who told him this? Where did this come from? These are games that strategically being played. And this is why victims don't come forward. This is why the girl that came forward on Charlemagne the God, this is exactly why her mother didn't let her go to trial and further the charges on Charlemagne the God, because the DEA, I mean, not the DEA, the defense attorney is going to do exactly what the people were doing to me. They ain't saying, hey, we're going to rip Afrika Bambattaa apart. They said, we're going to punch so many holes in Hassan Campbell's story that people not even going to remember, or they're not even going to care the fact that Afrika Bambattaa ran and he's never even faced the music on these charges. This is only a strategy to pretty much deflect off of Bam and throw all the weight on me to scare me and make me go into hiding like Ron Savage. And if the pressure busts these pipes, that means Bam could come back out and he can go continuously doing what he's been doing. And other pedophiles in the Zulu Nation can continuously do what they do. Right now, Bam can't live comfortably because he has to worry about if another victim is going to come out. But with the way I'm being torn down as a grown man, who would ever want to face the same music?
So why not, take down Bambattaa? If you hold the keys, to taking this man down, the people are asking, why not, Hassan?
The statute of limitation is up. So there's no way you could take him down outside of killing him. And the reality of it is, for me to go out there and go chase Afrika Bambattaa down and murder him after all of these years, after I was in front of him, when he confessed with the council, I could have murdered him there. It would just be foolish. I got children to raise. And I'm raising my children. You hear me talking to them in the background while we doing a live, telling them to go sit down. So this is the difference. This is what separates the boys from the men. The reality of it is, if I wanted Afrika Bambattaa dead, he would be dead. I confronted him. I let the world know what he did. And I moved on with my life. And that's the bottom line to it.
I mean, but it's like, if you're saying that, we're not trying to get nobody to murder anybody. You know what I'm saying? But it was this thing. It was a thing going around where people are pretty much saying that you was pretty much putting in work for him, and that if he's ravaging the community and doing this to all these kids, you hold the information to pretty much put him away. How do you feel about that? Going and telling about, some things that allegedly were done between the Zulu Nation. How you feel about that?
I tell them to stop guessing. I tell them, for one, stop guessing. For two, get on the front line, set something up. If they protest, protest. If they make videos about him. If he tries to have a concert somewhere or a show somewhere at a bar or a lounge or whatever the case may be, make phone calls and shut it down. That's what they do. Stop deflecting. That's the bottom line to it. Bam is not going to jail unless we have a victim that's of age. Stop trying to figure out what they don't know. Stop guessing. Instead, what you do is make it aware that we don't want him performing in our community, and we want the world to know that he's a pedophile. That's what they should be talking about. Outside of that, they need to stop making speculations and stop trying to figure out what crimes happened, that what is this and what is that. That's irrelevant. What they need to figure out is how to stop him. Stop creating scenarios. They don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to figure out what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking on SOBs, we seen him out there with Flex, seen the picture. He got shut down. A lot of people were asking why you weren't out there. Why weren't you out there?
Well, first and foremost, for one, I found out about it the day before, the night before. For two, I shouldn't even be doing this live right now because my mother's in the hospital, damn near on her deathbed, and she's been in the hospital. So that's where I spend my nights at. I'm not really focused on Afrika Bambattaa too tough. I'm focused on getting my family together, my mother together, who's in the hospital, and everybody knows this right now. Second off, let me tell you something. Depending on who sets up a march, I got to know who I'm dealing with, who I'm going to meet, because that could be an ambush for me. I'm not just going outside to a bunch of people that I've never met that's saying we doing a march against Afrika Bambattaa, and then I end up being set up for a robbery, for a murder, or end up being murdered by the same people because it's all game. I know how the Zulu Nation work. I didn't know anything about this rally going on. The one before that, we had it shut down. So people will sit up there and say, now he was supposed to do it a month before that. Actually, 2 months before that, I shut that down. So now I'm supposed to be responsible for every event. But my question to those people that's asking that question, why they not asking Ron Savage why he not doing this? This is strategically, they're strategically coming at me and asking these questions because Ron Savage allegedly was paid off, and Ron Savage is not nothing to worry about no more. So the main objective is to knock me down and knock me out. You have to understand something. I've been fighting this fight nonstop for 3 years. If it wasn't for me, Ron Savage didn't keep Afrika Bambattaa name alive. I kept his name alive. But yet and still, I'm being crucified on a cross and not the pedophile.
I think a lot of the reason why maybe you find some criticism is, and I mean, it is what it is. It's a little bit of hypocrisy and some contradiction in some of your statements, because you said that you didn't know when this event was. You said it was last night, but there's receipts and there's things on you having videos saying in November that you knew this event was going on and you're against it. Talk on that.
Hold up. See, once again, we're going to say this again. It was 2 events at SOBs. So when I'm talking about one from November, it's not hypocrisy. It was one that was shut down. We had it shut down. Then there was another one that was formed by flexing them again, and they used red alert. So it was 2 of them. That's not hypocrisy. It was 2 events. One of them got shut down. The second one got shut down by somebody else. So tell them to come a little bit better with the lies. Should I prove it? Because the first one, if y'all pay attention, Star said on his platform that we were all going to go out there and we was going to record Bambattaa with the cameras. Bambattaa didn't show up. It was canceled because he didn't want to be met out there with the cameras. Now, the second one is the one where he was out there and another group went out there. That's the one I learned about the night before. So tell the people to stop lying and playing mind games. Now, go back and do your homework and you will see that it was 2 events.
But do you understand the criticism, though? Because people are saying, like, you know, what can the people actually do to take Bambattaa down? They saying that you actually hold the keys to doing this, and this is what he was asking, like, is there an organization or something that's set up where people can help you fight against this machine? Because you're saying that, like, it's this big conspiracy against you, everybody's protecting Bambattaa. If there was an organization set up in place, that way people can funnel money into that to actually build something powerful to stop it. This is what people are asking.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Tell them to form the organization. I don't want an organization because I can't trust nobody. I can't trust nobody. I don't want nobody near me. I don't want to smile with nobody. I don't want to kick it with them because I can't trust nobody. And that's the bottom line to that. I'm dealing with killers. These are killers. These ain't regular dudes. I'm dealing with people. I'm dealing with a superpower that's behind Afrika Bambattaa. Now you have Hot 97 and Funkmaster Flex that step behind Afrika Bambattaa. You have all of the major figures in the hip-hop community behind Afrika Bambattaa. I don't want to create nothing. You tell them to go create something and start their own movement, because the reality of it is I'm getting tired of this shit anyway. Because the reality of it is I can't fight Bam and fight the critics too. So what they should do, being that they got my name in their mouth and they talking consistently about me, they should group together and they should show me how to do it. If they not going to put up, tell them I said shut the fuck up.
When's the last time you had contact with Afrika Bambattaa?
The last time I had contact with Afrika Bambattaa is when B Stinger was all over the news. I got a phone call saying that I was pretty much going to be murdered behind B Stinger coming out because they thought it was a conspiracy with me dealing with him. And Afrika Bambattaa had already confessed to the own council that he did it. So when B Stinger came out, nobody understood why he came out like that. So that's when I spoke to Afrika Bambattaa around that time. And my last words was with me arguing with him over the fact that there was supposed to be a hit on me. And I pretty much told him to go fuck himself. It's on. Whatever I see him, it's on. And I went straight to Star right from there. And I blew him up.
What do you think? What do you ultimately? What's your ultimate purpose now that you came out against Bambattaa? It doesn't seem like, you know, the law's moving any, you know, time soon on Bambattaa. What is your ultimate plan in moving forward in your platform on YouTube? And what are you trying to accomplish ultimately? What is your mission statement that you could tell the people?
My mission is to do exactly what I've been doing with the people be acting like they don't see. The reason why I'm so big on YouTube is because I touch hearts. I talk about getting the drugs off the street. I talk about getting the youth out of gangs. I talk about getting our kids proper education. I talk about keeping the family ties together. I talk about breaking the chains of breaking this agenda rather of them pushing homosexuality on our children through the Board of Education. I talk about I talk about all of the things that the African American community is scared to talk about. I talk about the pimps not pimping out our daughters no more. I talk about, you know, how everybody glorify Pistol Pete and Big Meech. I talk against what they did. And I know if Pistol Pete was sitting here right here with me, he would say the same thing. He is against everything he did. And this is why the people love me. They act like I don't have a message. Like I just talk about celebrity gossip. There's a message there. This is why I got a movement behind me already. I don't really need no add-ons. I already have a movement behind me. The only thing that people are trying to figure out is, what am I doing with my money and how much money I got? The reality of it is, I don't get that much money from the people. The money that I made off of YouTube is the money I made from my videos, from the views. Now, y'all being YouTubers, if you monetize, you know, if you get videos in the 100,000s or in the millions, you pretty much know what your check is going to look like off of one video. So you're not going to dictate to me what I'm going to do with my check that I get paid from YouTube if I actually get a paycheck that month for the revenue that I got off of my videos. And if a person decides to put something in my PayPal and say, hey, Hassan, because they actually do this. They say, hey, Hassan, get the little girl that's always in the camera. You get her some potato chips. They'll tell me what they want her to do. I don't never say to somebody, I need money for Bambattaa. I did it one time, and I said that's for me to get security around me because Ron Savage came forward on side of the show and said I had a hit. Outside of that, tell people to stay out of my pockets and stop worrying about what I do with my money. First and foremost, when it comes to my coats, I'm from the Bronx. We stay dressing. We stay up dressing fresh to death. And the only reason why I started stepping my dressing up just a little bit more is because, like I said, I had a female say to me, you know, clean it up a little bit. You on camera. I never gave a damn about that, but I always had clothes. And the fact that somebody would focus on my coats and what I'm wearing, that just let me know that you're a bum. You ain't never had nothing. I'm sorry your mother raised you like that. You're weak. Another man should never, ever talk about another man's wardrobe. That's weak. That's weak nigga shit.
I wanted to ask about Ron Savage because I'm confused because it's like both of y'all are victims. It was a clip that came out. I don't know how long ago this was, but in the beginning you said he put a video out. Both of y'all put a video out. There's a clip that said you wanted to bust his head to the white meat. I heard that shit. I'm like, well, why would he say that if they both victims? What is up with that? Y'all both victims. Y'all both trying to take down the same exact person. Why are you going at Ron Savage? Is what the people want to know.
Why I went at Ron Savage? Well, my people already know this, and Ron Savage people know this too. So I'm gonna let your people know this. The reason why I went at Ron Savage is because, hey, I was having a war behind the scenes over Ron Savage. Ron Savage was being accused of having sex, intercourse with a 4-year-old or a 6-year-old little girl. He was accused of that. So I told them to produce the little girl and the mother or shut up. They was going to come out. They was trying to put this out all over the radio and all over the internet. And I told these dudes, if they did that, we was going to go to war. And there was issues behind that in the streets over Ron Savage. Then Ron Savage gave me the information with the phone call with Mickey Benson. First and foremost, y'all got to understand something. Mickey Benson was like family to me, right? No more. We are not like that no more because of Ron Savage. Mr. Biggs was like family to me. It's not like that no more because of Ron Savage. So now, when Ron Savage started backpedaling and running with the same people that he had me flip on, automatically, it made me want to strangle Ron because, first of all, I'm going to keep it all the way funky with y'all. I said this from the beginning, and I don't never change. I always felt like there was some puppeteers behind Ron Savage coming out. That's not me saying I don't believe him. I know he's telling the truth. But there was a motive behind Ron Savage coming out. I was angry when Ron Savage first came out because he put my back against the wall. When that video came out, my video came out at the same time Ron Savage came out on Star's platform, and that was staged. So automatically at first, I was looking at Ron Savage kind of suspect because I'm like, yo, why would my video pop up and he pop up at the same time? My video was on Facebook for a couple of hours. They asked me to take it down. I was embarrassed. I took it down. Then mysteriously, it pops up on Star from Facebook 6 months before then. And then it comes out at the same time as Ron Savage. So for a minute, I didn't trust Ron Savage, but eventually I reached out to him. I fought with him. I fought for him on the front line, done march with him and all that. Now, the same people that I was beefing with in the Zulu Nation, Ron Savage started running with. How you have me put out an audio with Mr. Biggs bribing you, offering you $100,000, $50,000 to not speak on Bambattaa no more, and the audio with Mickey Benson threatening him and trying to make him fall back, that automatically put me on at war with these dudes, and these were my friends. So for him to go backpedal and then go join the Zulu Nation again, when you already know it's on, and then to start running with other people that I ain't going to even say their name, and he knew what they was doing. They were still with Bam, and he left me for dead in this fight. So automatically, when he did what he did and sided with the Zulu Nation, I said I wanted to bust his head to the white meat, because the reality of it is, if it wasn't for Ron Savage coming back out on Afrika Bambattaa, it is the God honest truth, and I will be honest, I wouldn't have came back out on Bam because I did it already. I didn't want no more of it. It was embarrassing. I took my video down. He apologized. I went my way. When Ron Savage came out, it's the God honest truth. I had no choice but to come back out fighting. I didn't want to come back out. It was disgusting. And now I'm here.
Could you clarify the statement as well? It was you got to clear Bam's name. That was another little video that I seen a couple little joints. You know, when I get some time, it said we got to clear Bam's name. Explain that situation to the people.
Who said we got to clear? Hold up.
It was a video. It was a video that came out where you said you wanted to bust Ronald, Savage's head to the white meat. Then you said, and I think in that video that you want to clear Bam's name. We got to clear Bam's name. We have to clear Bam's name. You don't remember that one?
If you can show me a video,
Okay.
where I said that I wanted to clear Bambatta's name, I'll fit. No. Clear his name from what? Because if you watching edited videos that somebody put up, you're not getting what I'm saying. Don't show me a video that somebody edited. Show me a whole video.
Okay.
From the beginning or the ending of what I had to say. Don't show me no video that somebody chopped and screwed, because they played a lot of games and they do a lot of those games. So you got a misunderstanding of something that I'm saying because you don't have the full understanding of what I'm saying when somebody edited a video.
Can you explain it though? Did you say those words? You remember saying those words? No.
I never said that I want to clear Bambatta's name of child molestation. Never. And as a matter of fact, if you could prove me wrong, I'll send you $1,000 right now.
Okay.
Prove me wrong.
Okay. Go ahead, Sam.
You talked about early on the YouTube success and anybody to mess your money up, and ain't nobody mad at that. Talk about a lot of the criticism that you gained because people are saying this is the only reason why you're even doing it is for a check. You don't care about pedophilia. You don't care about the children. You care about the check. Now, this isn't my words. This is what I hear from the people. And I'm just asking the question so that you can clear that up while I'm speak on that.
Well, I'll say this, right? I've been on YouTube for 3 years. I only been monetized for a year. That speaks for itself within itself right there. I never attempted to get monetized, nor did I monetize my page myself. Somebody else monetized my page for me while they was on the phone. I ain't gonna even mention that individual's name because he ain't worth bringing up. He was the reason why I got monetized. I didn't even monetize my page myself. But the reality of it is, once my page got monetized, right? And now I'm starting to get paid for videos I've been doing for 2 years prior. I didn't get paid for those videos. So I'm monetized now, and I'm actually getting a check from YouTube. And after a while, my checks was enough for me not to even have to go to work if I chose not to. And you mad at me because somebody actually made a video and I thought it was funny. Funny as shit. They folding sheets. Talking about Hassan Campbell, you need to get up off your ass and go to work. I'm in a $500,000 house right now that I own. I just had 5 cars in my driveway. I gave 2 of them away. I got 3. None of this was paid for off of YouTube. I got houses, co-ops before YouTube. So now when do these people figure that I'm just doing this for a check? Because they actually see that now I got commercials and I'm actually getting paid to do something that they're trying to do and they're not good at it. This is only people that's the bottom of the barrel of YouTube that's actually trying to do what you're doing and what I'm doing that's saying this. Because the reality of it is, if they worried about my check, y'all brothers got over 400,000 subscribers. I could only imagine what y'all getting paid. So when are they going to start telling y'all, like, hold up, you got over 400,000 subscribers and y'all getting videos that's in the 100,000, 200,000, that's in the millions. Dogs, y'all making like $40,000, $50,000 a month minimum.
No.
No, y'all getting bread. Because I know with the numbers that y'all got, if I got certain videos talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine and I done got $1,000 checks just off of one video, not from donations, just off of one video, then I know with the numbers that y'all doing, they should be sitting up there asking y'all, well, damn, are y'all giving back to the community? Where's y'all money going? Because y'all eating bread too.
Well, I mean, that's interesting you say that, because if they did come with that, and I don't know, we don't bring on that kind of energy, but if it were to be asked, with all due respect, we are incorporated, DLS Media Incorporated, Hip Hop News Uncensored Incorporated, and we could provide legitimate receipts on the numerous donations that we gave to youth football teams and various donations within the community for jacket drives and coat drives for the holidays and things like that. So we have no problem providing any receipt if they were to be asked from us. I think that's where the issue comes in with you, where you braggadocious a little bit about your earnings and things like that, and people want to check you on that. It's the energy that you provide. It's the energy that you bring, because people want to ride with the cause, the original premise that you brought on, which is to fight against Afrika Bambattaa and pedophilia. 100%, 1000% agree with that. But when the braggadocio comes into play and you start talking about the money and things like that, I can understand and see where people can go, you know what? Fuck this dude. Not necessarily saying that I do that because I'm on my own lane. Like I said, I got a business to take care of. But I could see where the criticism can come into play. Can you?
All right, here's what I'm going to have to say about that. I only have one video, just one, right? One video, maybe two the most, talking about what I made off of YouTube. 1 to 2 videos. So you're going to tell me within 3 years, now all of a something, because I actually expressed how much I made off of YouTube, off of one video, that overshadows all my work, and I'm bragging? Now, what it is jealousy and it's weak Negroes. And what it also is the fact that people were sprinkling money, and these are assaults being made on my character, because the reality of it is I got one video talking about what I made, for one. For two, quiet that noise down. I got one video made talking about what I own, what I made. And for two, why nobody talk about the children that I took into foster care, that I took care of for years? Why nobody talk about the young lady, I won't say her name, that was a runaway that I raised for the last 6 years? She graduated. Now she's in college. That moved out on her own. Why is nobody talking about that?
Brother, you make my point exactly. Because if you were to talk about these things and put it together, maybe a GoFundMe or something for these families, the support that you have underneath your platform would provide for these families, would provide for these people. So why not do that?
Listen, I don't have a problem with starting a GoFundMe. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. I'm going to say it again. You talking to somebody that came from the streets, that came from the penitentiary, and you talking college language, you talking politics to somebody that's a street individual, and you asking me why I didn't go a corporate route, or I didn't go a corporate route, or go a route that's unknown to me. That's ignorance. That's something. That's a form of I'm in a form of ignorance or unknowing when it comes to this stuff. It's new to me. For one. For two, I never planned on being in this long. I never had a plan on going this far into this. This was my fight about my life, and me, along the lines of me telling people that I was molested by Afrika Bambattaa. I had MC Shan reach out to me. And the reason why I speak on his name, because he did it publicly on a talk show. I had him reach out to me. I had others reach out to me that I won't mention. I had the sister Patrice, who was violated allegedly by the group X Clan. So the work that I've been doing jobs that nobody speaks on. Started and get Patrice. I got her, and I brought her to Star. So I've been doing work, and people have been calling in and giving their testimony about what they've been through. What I do outside and behind the scene, I do out of the kindness of my heart. As far as me starting to GoFundMe, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So what I have to say to them, mind your fucking business and don't worry about what the fuck I do with my money. My money is my money. I'm not looking to start a GoFundMe. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Because I'm not looking to start a GoFundMe. I'm not looking for a program. I'm not looking to do nothing. If I do something out of the kindness, I'll do it behind the scenes. I'm not looking for a 501c3. I'm not looking for that. If they want a 501c3 and they want to sit up there and they want to start a GoFundMe, you go do that. That's not what I'm here for. I might decide today or tomorrow not to even be on YouTube anymore. I'm still debating that. And I don't give a damn, and I'm not going to sit up there and let somebody question my motives or what I'm doing or how I'm doing when they not doing nothing and they still at the bottom of the barrel on YouTube.
That's Hassan Campbell. Would you say, in your estimation, that speaking about something is just enough? Like just speaking about, would you say that that's having a big enough impact? You just speaking about, against child molestation and, stuff in the street. Is that enough? Or
Let me ask you a question.
Do you think that it should be? Because what people are ultimately saying is like, not trying to tell you what to do with your money, but you got people around you who may like say, yo, this guy got power. He got these subscribers. He could utilize them in a way that could be beneficial to his cause. So why not listen to some of the suggestions that people are asking you to do? You know what I'm saying? That's all people ultimately saying. But go ahead.
Why would I listen to somebody that didn't offer me any help at all? They offered me criticism when they don't even know my mental state. Why would I actually sit up there and listen to somebody that didn't sit up there and say, hey, I got a police officer in my family, or I got some gang members in my family that can hold you down, because we know when you walk the streets, you got to look over your shoulders for the rest of your life. I'm still in the war process of this. One of my friends that exposed Afrika Bambattaa was murdered. So now you sitting up there telling me that I'm supposed to shoot guns, throw knives, and be a politician at the same time? What the fuck is wrong with you people? You expect me to revenge TC Islam's death, look over my shoulder when I go outside of my driveway, because I done had a few altercations in the streets that I don't talk about on social media. One half of the time, my blood pressure is up. I'm not feeling good. I'm not in the right frame of mind. I'm still suffering from the effects of being of what I've been through with Afrika Bambattaa and being teased all over the internet. And then y'all expect me to be Jesus Christ. Mentally, I know for a fact that neither one of y'all couldn't even handle what I'm dealing with, because y'all haven't been through what I've been through. I know you couldn't handle it.
I got you, but here's what I'm saying. People want to know, did you get help? Because everybody will. If I never been molested, but I can only imagine that if I was, it would be something that I would have to actually get help for at some point in my life. Are you seeing some type of psychologist, psychiatrist to get some type of help to actually help you cope with this?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. If you was molested, right? And I sat up there and made fun of you to the point to where that, let's say you wanted to commit suicide. Do you think a psychiatrist is going to help you when you go back home after you left that psychiatrist and your children is coming to you saying, Dad, why are they saying these horrible things about you over the internet? Is that psychiatrist going to help? No. It's pointless. There's nothing that a psychiatrist could do for me.
I'll disagree. I think there's a lot of different services that people could get for a lot of different mental illnesses.
How are you gonna? The only person and the only thing that can help me is God. Another person that goes home with their issues. You're a psychologist. Most psychologists can't even handle their goddamn wives. They go through divorces and everything else. They master manipulators. The only thing that can heal me is fasting, prayer, and God. Another man cannot help me. You cannot heal me or help me. You cannot give me no advice or that's going to make me feel good at the fact that I got people trying to assassinate my character after I was assassinated as a child. You cannot help me when every time I turn around, somebody, unless you're going to get on the front line and you're going to sit up there and say, all right, we're going to get a legal team. We're going to knock these videos down. We're going to press charges on these people for making up lies and slandering. What else are you telling me? What else are you going to tell me? You're going to sit up there and listen to me and what I have to say? And I done been to counseling before in my life. I've been to counseling. This shit don't work. It don't work. I don't care what you say. When you've been raped and molested as a child, there's no counseling in the world that can help you with that. You just got to get over that shit. And guess what? Black America, Black YouTube, they ain't trying to help me get over it. They trying to hurt me even more. That's the bottom line to that.
Now, you said you were diagnosed with a syndrome. I heard you say it in the video, right? Stockholm syndrome. I heard you say that.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Okay. So you didn't try to seek any help for that at all. You don't think that you could be helped at all. So what do? You just sit back and rely on God to help it? I'm just, it's just a question, brother.
You know what helped me? Mm-hmm. What helps me is all of the people that y'all don't talk about, all of the people that call in and all of the people that reached out to me that have been molested, that helped me get to this 100,000 subscribers. The fact that they told me that I saved their lives is what helps me. The fact that I know that now, me putting myself back out there on Front Street that saved people's lives and also had other people confront their abusers, that's what helps me. Me talking to another Negro in the office sitting on a goddamn chair, it didn't help me. I've done that before in my life. It ain't helped me then. It ain't going to help me now. I don't want it.
Hassan, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What works for me is the fact that I got videos that y'all not acknowledging where people sit up there saying, Hassan Campbell, you saved my life. That's being ignored.
No, it isn't. No, it's not. And that's the whole premise of us, on the strength of us finding you, was the difference that you were making. Speaking out against pedophilia, speaking out against Afrika Bambattaa, the whole ordeal, and even how Afrika Bambattaa, in my knowledge, was even doing these horrific things were through your video. So you do help people. You gained awareness in my mind. But I'm a real dude. Now I have two real eyes and I see things. And I can't help but to ask. I can't help but to ask questions. It is what it is. Go ahead. Oh God, my bad. I had a question, but I forgot it. I'll get back to it real quick.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, it brings up a good point, man. I think a lot of people are just trying to, just they see the potential, and people see like, yo, you brought this light to all these different people. And then I had a situation where I found out somebody in my family was molested. So I'm like, dang, this shit is real. I didn't ever even knew that my whole life, and it touched me in a certain way. So all we saying is that, not to try to point fingers at you or to criticize, even though criticism comes. Once you put yourself on a public platform, you're going to get criticized. It just is what it is. We all got to do it. But people just want to see you, use your power wisely. That's all I think. Some people, you got your haters out there. They come with the territory. When you grow, you're going to have the hater, but you got to block them out. Forget what they saying and focus in on a positive. But
my question, my bad to cut you off. Oh God. You spoke on Stockholm. Who diagnosed you with Stockholm?
Who diagnosed me with Stockholm?
Yes, sir.
Some of the people that I've seen behind the scenes that were psychiatrists that came along and pretty much told me what the word meant, because I never knew what the word meant. I would have never even gave myself that title.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, yeah, man. So what would you like to say to the people? Obviously, this is the back and forth, all this stuff. It's videos coming out every day. What would you finally like to say to the people, about Hassan Campbell? If it's people who may not be on your platform, maybe on this platform, that may see the interview, what do you want to say? What you want to say?
Well, what I basically want to say to them is pretty much thank you for making me stronger than I've ever been. I mean, I didn't even imagine that I could actually be this strong. Now it's to the point to where that I don't even have to respond to these videos, because it's like, I'm immune to it. Once you get hit, or rather you start punching the walls, you get calluses on your knuckles. So they pretty much gave me calluses. It's like I'm immune to it. And I'm thankful. Thank you for making me stronger. Thank you for exposing the fact that I know that y'all Luciferians and y'all actually work. Some of y'all working for the system to try to push me over the board and break me, and it's not going to work. I'm going to continue to do what I do. You're not going to run me off of this own platform. You're not going to break me. I'm going to keep on doing. And that's the bottom line to that. My whole thing is, if y'all really sincere about my fight and what I'm doing, and you dedicated yourself to making 25 to 30, Khalil, 25 to 30 videos about me, 25 to 30. Then it goes to 100. I actually got individuals that make videos about me for a whole year straight. Why not just take all that energy into figuring out where Bambattaa is and how to take him down? Why not take all that energy and putting it into dealing with R. Kelly, Charlie Sheen, Weinstein, and all of the rest of them? Instead, when you focusing on somebody that's been victimized and trying to beat them even more, this is the reason why some kids don't go home to their parents and tell their parents, hey, I've been molested, because they know their mama going to blame it on them and beat them. I told you to stay away from Uncle John, but you got Uncle John in the house. So now that child gets beaten. And what the African-American community is doing to me is giving me a spanking for being molested instead of aiding me.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I got too, man. Appreciate you coming on the platform and speaking your piece, man. Thank you.